Question. Road rage and aggressive driving may be reduced by option number 1. Allowing extra travel time. Option number 2. Obeying posted speed limits. Option number 3. Using proper turn signals. Option number 4. All of the above. The answer is option number 4. All of the above. Question. You are driving at night and another vehicle is approaching from the opposite direction. Your headlights? Option number 1. Should be on their high beam setting. Option number 2. Should be on their low beam setting. Option number 3. Should be off, use your parking lights. Option number 4. May be on either their high or low beam setting. The answer is option number 2. Should be on their low beam setting. Question. When approaching an accident scene, you should? Option number 1. Keep your attention on your driving. Option number 2. Keep moving. Option number 3. Stop if you are involved or if emergency help has not yet arrived. Option number 4. All of the above. The answer is option number 4. All of the above. Question. On the freeway, you see a merging traffic sign. You should? Option number 1. Honk at incoming traffic. Option number 2. Always remain at your present speed. Option number 3. Speed up to avoid congesting traffic. Option number 4. Move to another lane, if safe, to let traffic enter. The answer is option number 4. Move to another lane, if safe, to let traffic enter. Question. This road sign means? Option number 1. Parking spaces are reserved for people with disabled parking permits. Option number 2. A circular intersection is ahead. Option number 3. Traffic in the lane must turn in the direction of the arrow. Option number 4. Lanes are reserved for buses and vehicles with a driver and one or more passengers. The answer is option number 1. Parking spaces are reserved for people with disabled parking permits. Question. On a road which has no sidewalks, a pedestrian should walk on the option number 1. Side of the road which has the lightest traffic. Option number 2. Same side of the road on which traffic is moving. Option number 3. Side of the road facing oncoming traffic. Option number 4. Side of the road which has the heaviest traffic. The answer is option number 3. Side of the road facing oncoming traffic. Question. If you're going to turn left onto a one-way street, you should complete the turn into Option number 1. The right lane. Option number 2. The lane closest to your previous lane. Option number 3. Either lane. Option number 4. Neither lane. The answer is option number 2. The lane closest to your previous lane. Question. A flashing yellow light at an intersection means that you should? Option number 1. Slow down and proceed with care. Option number 2. Continue normally through the intersection. Option number 3. Stop and proceed when a green light appears. Option number 4. Stop and proceed when the way is clear. The answer is option number 1. Slow down and proceed with care. Question. You are involved in an accident and another person is injured. You should? Option number 1. Move the injured away from the scene immediately. Option number 2. Always leave the injured where they are. Option number 3. Not move the injured unnecessarily. Keep the injured warm and administer first aid. Option number 4. Stay away from the injured. The answer is option number 3. Not move the injured unnecessarily. Keep the injured warm and administer first aid. Question. A yellow and black diamond-shaped sign? Option number 1. Warns you about conditions on or near the road. Option number 2. Helps direct you to cities and towns ahead. Option number 3. Tells you about traffic laws and regulations. Option number 4. Tells you about road construction ahead. The answer is option number 1. Warns you about conditions on or near the road. Question. When driving on slick roads, you should? Option number 1. Take turns more slowly than usual. Option number 2. Change lanes quickly. Option number 3. Accelerate quickly. Option number 4. Brake hard. The answer is option number 1. Take turns more slowly than usual. Question. Distracted driving is? Option number 1. Very uncommon. Option number 2. Extremely risky behavior. Option number 3. Nothing to be concerned about. Option number 4. No less safe than driving under any other conditions. The answer is option number 2. Extremely risky behavior. Question. When is it illegal to drive below the speed limit? Option number 1. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. Option number 2. When in heavy traffic in a construction zone. Option number 3. Only when driving in rural areas. Option number 4. When driving under adverse weather conditions. The answer is option number 1. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. Question. Larger vehicles have? Option number 1. Larger blind spots. Option number 2. Smaller blind spots. Option number 3. No blind spots. Option number 4. The same blind spots as smaller vehicles. The answer is option number 1. Larger blind spots. Question. When driving in traffic, it is safest to? Option number 1. Fluctuate your speed to keep alert. Option number 2. Drive faster than the flow of traffic. Option number 3. Drive slower than the flow of traffic. Option number 4. Drive with the flow of traffic. The answer is option number 4. Drive with the flow of traffic. Question. You are coming to an intersection and have a green light. Pedestrians are crossing against the red. You should? Option number 1. Honk your horn. Option number 2. Speed up and pass in front of the pedestrians. Option number 3. Stop to let the pedestrians cross safely. Option number 4. Drive close to the pedestrians and frighten them so they'll think twice before crossing against a red light. The answer is option number 3. Stop to let the pedestrians cross safely. Question. When you see other drivers around you acting or reacting in anger? Option number 1. Don't make eye contact. Option number 2. Don't react with hand gestures. Option number 3. Distance yourself from the situation. Option number 4. All of these. The answer is option number 4. All of these. Question. This sign means? Option number 1. You must turn left or right. Option number 2. You are approaching a T intersection. Option number 3. The road that you are on intersects with a divided highway. Option number 4. You are on an overpass above a divided highway. The answer is option number 3. The road that you are on intersects with a divided highway. Question. This sign means? Option number 1. Pedestrians only. Option number 2. Intersection ahead. Option number 3. Hiking trails ahead. Option number 4. School crossing ahead. The answer is option number 4. School crossing ahead. Question. This sign means? Option number 1. Divided highway ends. Option number 2. One-way traffic ahead. Option number 3. Two-way traffic ahead. Option number 4. Keep to the right. The answer is option number 4. Keep to the right. Question. Which of the following are used on some highways to direct drivers into the proper lanes for turning? Option number 1. Flashing red lights. Option number 2. Flashing yellow lights. Option number 3. White lines on the side of the road. Option number 4. White arrows in the middle of the lanes. The answer is option number 4. White arrows in the middle of the lanes. Question. This road sign means? Option number 1. The road ahead turns sharply right, then left. Option number 2. The road ahead turns sharply left, then right. Option number 3. The road ahead curves to the left. Option number 4. Construction ahead. The answer is option number 1. The road ahead turns sharply right, then left. Question. Before passing another vehicle, you should signal? Option number 1. Just before changing lanes. Option number 2. At any time. Option number 3. After changing lanes. Option number 4. Early enough for others to know your plans. The answer is option number 4. Early enough for others to know your plans. Question. Certain highway signs require drivers to obey an indicated instruction. Such signs are known as? Option number 1. Regulatory signs. Option number 2. Warning signs. Option number 3. Information signs. Option number 4. Guide signs. The answer is option number 1. Regulatory signs. Question. When you see or hear an emergency vehicle coming, you should? Option number 1. Stop immediately and let the vehicle pass. Option number 2. Drive as far toward the right side of the road as is safe and stop. Option number 3. Proceed slowly and permit the vehicle to pass. Option number 4. Keep moving slowly, staying to the right side of the road. The answer is option number 2. Drive as far toward the right side of the road as is safe and stop. Question. This road sign means? Option number 1. All traffic must turn right. Option number 2. No right turn. Option number 3. All traffic must go straight ahead. Option number 4. A road joins from the right. The answer is option number 4. A road joins from the right. Question. This road sign means? Option number 1. The left lane is reserved for vehicles with a specific number of occupants. Option number 2. Specific turning movements are allowed from specific lanes. Option number 3. Do not enter. Option number 4. Drivers in both lanes are responsible for merging smoothly. The answer is option number 1. The left lane is reserved for vehicles with a specific number of occupants. Question. A solid yellow line on your side of the centerline means? Option number 1. Slow down. Option number 2. Pass with caution. Option number 3. Do not pass. Option number 4. Keep right on hills. The answer is option number 3. Do not pass. Question. When entering a street from a driveway, you? Option number 1. Must drive slowly to allow approaching vehicles and pedestrians time to get out of your way. Option number 2. Must honk your horn so approaching vehicles and pedestrians know to give you room. Option number 3. Must stop and proceed only when there are no pedestrians or vehicles approaching. Option number 4. Can disregard any pedestrians if there is no sidewalk. The answer is option number 3. Must stop and proceed only when there are no pedestrians or vehicles approaching. Question. A leaky exhaust system in your vehicle is dangerous because it can cause? Option number 1. A loss of hearing. Option number 2. Pollution. Option number 3. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Option number 4. Poor engine performance. The answer is option number 3. Carbon monoxide poisoning.